This is Rose, and you are listening to Podcastinating. We are here with Angel Romero. He's part of our Forge leadership team and spearheads our Inspire volunteer committee, as well as our Forge Your Future initiative. Thank you for being on our podcast today.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here for just the second episode. This is exciting.
Woohoo! Woo. So, we're going to start with this first question. In case nobody has seen the hashtag or anything, what is Forge Your Future?
Yeah, so, we, back before the mayoral primary, back in the summer, we kind of took a look at voter registration numbers and looked at what elections have been doing in the past, and we saw that registered voters for folks who are young professionals who are under the age of 40 were pretty terrible, to be quite honest. Especially when we looked at voters between the ages of 18 and 24, we saw that they only accounted for 8% of all registered voters in Shawnee County. And we said, with this election coming up, that just can't be. We've got too many important things happening. There's too much at stake in the city to really sit this election out. And we really need to make sure young professionals have a voice and are making their voice heard on election day. And so we really wanted to dig in there and help people find out information about elected officials, get plugged into issues that are going on, and really get them active and engaged with their city government.
That's perfect. So we're going to get them voting, but voting for what?
Right.
So that leads us to our next question.
Sure.
So what is city council, in case people may not know? And then what is the purpose of like a city council meeting?
Sure. So, what I love, and of course I'm a nerd about these kinds of things anyway, but what I always tell people is city government is kind of the most practical form of government, and they do all manner of things, which is what's really cool about it. And why it's important, because it's that unit of government that affects your daily life the most. So, when you think of the streets that you drove into on your way to work, when you think about police and fire and the water in your homes, all those things we use every single day are impacted by decisions that our city council makes. And so that's why it's so important for people to make their voices heard and to come out and vote. At those city council meetings, you'll hear kind of a wide gambit of things. Everything from if you're going to have a big blowout party somewhere and you need a street closed and you need the noise ordinance waived so you can have that event, it's a city council member that's going to handle that for you. If you've got a pothole on your street that you need filled, a city council member is someone that you can contact to help make that happen. There are those folks that are going to take care of those day-to-day services, are going to be responsible for finding people to take care of those for you. So you'll see those issues, and then you'll see big things. They approve a city budget, and that budget sets priorities. So for things like street repairs, for public safety, hiring more police officers, firefighters, all those kinds of really big decisions that impact our daily lives are decisions that they're making at those city council meetings.
They don't just walk in and say yay or nay and all of that.
Yeah.
There's actually like a process that they go through when they're trying to make decisions. Like, do they have a team of people that help them make these decisions, that sort of thing?
Sure. So they're a busy group of people. It's what's the thing I think that's fascinating about is a lot of these folks have full-time jobs too. So they're people. Some of them are retired, but some of them have full-time jobs, and they do this sort of on the side. But I say that, but it is also a very full side gig, if you will. So they have full access to city staff. So they have city staff in all the departments that help them on any issues. So if they're working on, for instance, street repairs, they'll work with Public Works, and they'll work with folks there to find out more about issues. Those departments will bring proposals before City Council, and so staff in preparing those will work with City Council members to answer questions from them. When City Council members themselves get questions about city services, they're going to utilize city staff to help them figure out answers to those or respond, kind of be liaisons to the community on those issues. City Council members are also on committees too. So in addition to City Council, there's all kinds of different subcommittees of City Council that those council members sit on. There's city council members that sit on JADO, the Joint Economic Development Organization, and so they're really busy in that interim time between city council meetings, between committees, and working with city staff and all the kind of hard work that really happens at city government.
So, why should the general public care about their city council, and specifically like going to the meetings? Like,
Sure.
why should or would somebody attend?
Sure. Well, like we just talked about, these are issues that really are touching your daily life. That annoying pothole that you run into every day on the way to work. If you go one day and your water is brown all of a sudden coming out of the faucet. These are the things that we're experiencing on a daily basis, and these are the things that your city council members need to hear about. And the fascinating thing about it too is how few people do show up to city council meetings now. And And so one voice really can make a difference on an issue. City council members, I mentioned that they're busy people and they are not experts on everything. And it's impossible for them to know everything that's going on in the city. So hearing from citizens is really important to them because as much as they get out there, they can't address things that they don't know about, and they can't take into account perspectives that they don't hear or that they don't know about as well. So it's really important for people to make their voice heard and to let people know what's going on in the community because it does make a difference. I've seen city council members change their minds. I've seen them really take public opinion into account of what they hear from people who are impacted by those decisions. So it's really important for people to show up to meetings, to write their city council members too. All those things really do make a difference and really are heard by those folks.
And if somebody can't come or they don't know like who their council person is, where can they go to find that information so they know what district they're in and who to talk to?
Sure, yeah. So if they go to the city's website, if they go to topeka.org/citycouncil, they'll be able to see all their lists of city council members. And they also have a map there that shows you which city council district you live in too. So they can find that. They can find all their email information and phone numbers for all the city council members as well.
Awesome. And so one of the things that we're going to do here at Podcastinating is put links to some of those references in our description. So that way you can find that really easy, click on that. Same thing with our episode about the mayoral forum yesterday. You'll find a link to that podcast in the description so you can check that out. Election day is November 7th and the polls will open at 7 a.m. And there are also several events going on that day.
Absolutely. So we're really excited for Election Day, of course. And one of the things we want to do at the end of Election Day is to come together and celebrate. And so we actually have a really cool partnership with 785 Magazine with Carice Mapes, the editor there who's on our Forge Your Future committee. So she's had for a few years now these Vote Damn It parties, which it's fun. It's fun just to get people to say damn it a lot too. But these parties are really just ways to get together to recognize people for voting and to really kind of celebrate. So what happens is at 7 p.m. that night at Quitten's, we'll have our Vote Damn It party for this election. Anyone that comes in with an I voted sticker gets a free drink. So it's really that simple. So if you go out, you show up to vote, you have your I vote sticker, you get a free drink, and then you just get to mingle and watch as the results come in that night.
Perfect. And then the second event, kind of right before that, is the GenX Chat that'll be at the Norseman Brewing Company from 6 to 7. It's presented by Security Benefit. So Doug Wolf's going to speak to Forge members about the decisions he made throughout his career and the steps he took that led him to becoming president of Security Benefit Life. So all the events that are mentioned today are on Facebook, so check out our page for details and let us know if you're interested or going. Click that button. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram and now YouTube.
Woo! Look at us go.
Yeah, getting there, moving into the big times.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Angel, for coming on. We're so happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Go vote.
Yep, vote it.